Oh, excuse me. Shit. What's up? I'm back. I want to get into some stuff I seen on Twitter, and they pretty much just talking about learning their lessons or their mastered learning. That I never can remember what the fuck people tweeted, but I be slaughtering their tweets. But pretty much it was saying the mastery is, oh no, lessons are over. This is mastery, and for me, I just feel like the last lesson is death. The last lesson is the true detachment from this reality. So until then, I mean, I don't see any way to stop lessons because I mean, this world is a classroom and your teacher. And like I said, you can't control her. Now, at least now, you can't control our space. We're products of our environment as much as we like to think we're not and think we're the controllers, but not shit. Don't jump the bandwagon or whatever you want to call it. Don't jump the gun. But said bandwagon, that shit funny. Niggas just be talking. But it's just saying like in that same aspect, like, bro, every lesson is about yourself. Every lesson is to help you discover yourself, to help you find yourself, to help you understand yourself more. Period. If you fail a test, that means you know that shows your weaknesses. So, okay, now improve on them. Now you might be upset that the test you failed the test, but you should be happy because now this test was good enough to show you had weaknesses, and now you can start improving there. It wasn't like you was in a life or death situation. I mean, sometimes you be in those situations, but that come through. You failed many other tests, and now you're in this life or death situation in a sense. But well, at least you think you have to go to that. But yeah, it's like what I was saying, life or death. Not having to get there, but learn from those experiences before. It's like, yeah, I mean, everything is to understand yourself, point blank, period. And that's what education means, to pull out. Like when your teacher give you a pop quiz, oh, I was talking about your weaknesses. Understanding your weaknesses, like that you should be happy. Like easy test, you be like, yeah, I got a good grade. But like if you know you're not really good at math, you still be like, oh, this time I got a good grade this time, or this 6 weeks I did good, but next 6 weeks we going into this part of algebra that I really don't know, fractions and shit like that. And it's like I'm not really holistic in this whole understanding. I'm just good at this one part, so I'm happy here. I'm good at this shit. If we stay here, I'm gonna keep getting A's, but I know we got to move forward. So that's the whole thing of yeah, A's might be good if you faking. I mean, A's are good, period, because you're doing good for confidence. But shit, them F's really show you where you need to learn and really understand where you lacking in certain understandings. Like, period. Especially about ourselves. That's the only understanding that I'm really trying to give. But of course, I got to use math and certain shit. But I mean, it's that simple. Like, no matter what you're going through. And we were talking about this on Provocative Thoughts, like with experiences, not wanting to go through experiences anymore. Like, yeah, man, that shit's very, 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 very real. Because it's like you let your past traumas fuck with you, and you're like, man, I'm good on experiences. I'd rather just stay like this and never have to go through anything other than what I've been through already. And just deal with that shit. You see that with relationships where people be like, I'm good on relationships. I ain't doing this shit no more. I don't need nobody. But it's like, nah, you ain't need that nigga. And it ain't like you need somebody. It's just like it'd be nice to have somebody on your side. And it's like it's just common sense. Like it ain't always about negative experiences. And we stick to those negative experiences more than positive. And some people can create chips on their shoulders. Others let that shit feed into them, and that shit eats them up in a sense. And yeah, I mean, you can look at it with sports. Like when you lose, you're gonna think about that loss way more than you can think about a Super Bowl win. Like for the Seahawks, they probably think about that damn first that 1 yard interception way more than they thought about their first Super Bowl. And I mean, I can contest that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people contested that with business deals and shit. Some of the business deals they lost hurt them more than the ones that they won. And it's like, I mean, that's a good energy because, like I said, you looking into your weaknesses, but don't let that shit eat you up because you got to understand, all right, well, I can't, at least you have won before in a sense. So you know that you can win again. You just got to find it in a sense or tap into it. But, yeah, man, you can't be scared to experience. And any prepared kid will not be scared of a pop quiz. Like if you prepared, if you truly know yourself, bro, you got all confidence you're gonna get through everything. And of course, like even like, you gotta be a supreme nerd to be 100% happy with a pop quiz. And I know ain't nobody gonna be perfect. Even the smart kid might have a bad day or some shit in the sense of he woke up late. He still might get an A on the shit, but he just tired. He don't feel like taking a test. He wanted to probably put his head down or some shit. But just in that aspect, like you still know you can get it done. But it's just like, all right, well, damn. She gonna hit with us with a pop quiz every day, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna knock them hoes out. I'm gonna get an A, but shit, why we gotta keep taking these hoes? Like at some point, you know you good, and I ain't gonna say that's where I'm at. That's where I want to be at, like where I just completely just know that I'm done with this shit. And that sounds like, I know shit be sounding bad, but I mean it just is what it is, man. You gotta understand this is just a limitation of us. Like this is not the big picture. Let this damn blower dude go by. Yeah, when I say be done, it comes from a bunch of different perspectives. Because, like I said, you got to build towards the steps of detachment. Like, when you look at Avatar: Last Airbender, like you can't just do it. I mean, of course, it's a cartoon, so he was already in that stage. But I mean, he practiced that shit. That was the last chakra, of course. But it still was a little easy for him. Of course, that's all I'm trying to say. But still, it's like, we gotta start building to those foundations, and like shit being done in my mind means a lot of different things, man. In the sense of just me being done with being scared of shit, done with being fearful of shit, like done. I mean, I get being done with learning your lessons. I talk about the senioritis and shit like that. Of course, I speak from many different perspectives. Of course, we almost done. Of course, we're on a what do you call it? Precipice. I think that's what it's called, but I mean, you still, like, it's like for people on Twitter, for people on YouTube, for people that's following these people, like, they don't understand that, nigga, it's a journey. It's not just something that you just, oh, I'm done with lessons. Like, and even still, why are you here if you done with lessons? Like, I don't see that being, I don't see that being feasible. Like every moment you're discovering yourself, every thought, every dream, every moment, every instance, every reaction, and however, like, bro, you discovering yourself. Like it be times that shit happen and how you react, you be like, damn, why'd I do that? Or even though you knew you did that, you just like, damn, I really did that shit. So it's like, bro, every moment you discovering yourself more. So it's like, I don't really like Twitter spiritual people, so that's why I come on YouTube and talk shit. Talk shit on Twitter too, but ain't nobody trying to hear nobody on Twitter. But at least not me yet right now, of course. But one day they'll be down. I mean, that's really it, man. Just understanding, like, bro, lessons are you. Every lesson is about yourself. So, I mean, unless you fully figures yourself out, I mean, you'll never fully discover yourself. I mean, like, there's always more to discover. That's the whole thing about being infinite. That's the whole thing about being God. So, yeah, even when you're in the next life, there's still more to, like, do in a sense of you're infinite. It's like, we don't, like, just going into the cosmic memory of remembering all of ourselves. The fact that you, like, they're saying, like memories or lessons, all that shit, deja vu, when you go through shit, like, that's the whole, like, it's all intertwined. Honestly, it's all intertwined. Like, to go back and go through memories the same as dreaming. Like, those are past lessons. And like I said, you can always remember shit that you don't remember now. Especially on some spiritual, internal, like, tapping into your soul, seeing past lives. Like, the more you become holistic, the more you see, like, period. Even in this world, like, period. We don't see all of the fucking light spectrum. So even now, we think we seeing everything that's out to offer in front of us, but nigga, if the light spectrum change, there's a whole nother world in front of us. So like, yeah, we not. I don't know, man. I'm stay weary. I wouldn't say weary because we like they like pop quizzes, man. They come up, we answer them, we get them out the way. For these people that just be, this positive, because they're part of that positive Twitter act, they're part of the positive Twitter act. I gotta say it in a certain way because even though she's, fuck man, that shit's hard to explain. I understand it fully, but it's just hard to get out, like, cause she's on one side, she's like, I'm done learning lessons, but that means she thinks all lessons probably are a negative, and you think of that perspective. Because I spoke from that perspective before. I hear people speak from that perspective all the time. So if you're done with learning lessons, that means either you're ready to die or you done discovering yourself. And I mean, I mean, of course, people can give me another perspective that I'm missing, but from my perspective, that's what I see. And yeah, I mean, I don't really see anything else other than that. Trying to grab other perspectives, but yeah, the reason I say they positive Twitter is just because they're one-sided. And that could be negative Twitter because you're one-sided. That's how I see anything. If you're not holistic, you're low vibration. So I think that's negative. But even then, I understand you, and you help me be positive. So I'm not even going to come at you like that. You just, watch out for those type of people in a sense. But I'm just talking shit right now. But, yeah, I mean, that's really what a lot of people on Twitter is. They're one-sided. So technically, they're low. They're just not holistic. So that means they're low vibrational in a sense. Because I mean, you're not operating at the holiest point. But yeah, I mean, that's anybody that don't want to learn lessons or go through experiences anymore. For the sense of like, on this realm, like, I mean, unless you're ready to die, which I talk about being comfortable with and understanding, like, yes, bring it on, bro. It's not even a such thing as death. But for the most part, it didn't seem like she was talking about that. It seemed like this is mastery. Now I can just go live my life, tweet to do, tweet to do. And it's like, yeah, you even if you're a master, you still learn from your students. So, yeah, that's the only the last lesson is detachment. Death is graduation. Goddamn it, that's your cap. Period. And that's why they put the capstone over you, low key. But that's your cap. Like, nigga, that's when you graduate on to the next stage. And I mean, even then, there's lessons. So it's probably her perspective on what she think lessons is, and everything's perspective. And when you have a holistic perspective, you just start to understand the holistic picture, bro. Like, I hate saying holistic, but that's my word. Holistic. I like it. It's easy. It makes the most sense because everybody think God is everything, so you have to understand holistic is everything, bro. So, I mean, like I said, I talked about this before, but I ain't feel like tweeting it. Trying to think if anything else pop up, but no. I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, like I said, I get the perspective of not wanting to learn anymore. Like I said, I got senioritis too. I'm ready to get the fuck up out of here. I get that our lessons are coming to an end. That's a whole nother story, though. Like I said, it's a difference. Like, not to learn lessons at all is just, you wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be a reason to be here. For what? This world is a classroom. Like, if this world is a classroom, nigga, the longest you're here, you're learning. Like, you might have a nap time, you might have recess, you might have whatever, but nigga, you're in class at all times. So, like, at that same point, only time you leave class is when you die, bro. Period. Like, you can become the principal of the classroom. You can become the superintendent of the classroom. You can become a student in the classroom. You can be a motherfucking student teacher in the classroom. There's many perspectives you can be in this fucking classroom. But nigga, you still in class, and they still can learn how to be a better superintendent, a better teacher, or a better principal, a better mentor, a better whatever, nigga, a better friend in class. Like, nigga, it's point blank, period. You can always get better because you're in class. That's what this classroom is for. And I mean, if you want to be a flunky in the sense of understanding yourself, then I mean, you're not going to want to keep going through lessons. You're going to be like, nah, I'm good here. I know this, I know that. I don't need to really know anything else. And that's what that sound like. You feel like you get to a point where you're good, you're comfortable, and now it's a religion. And that's why I got to step in when I see people say they don't want to learn lessons no more. Because it's like, nah, nigga, you got to keep going till you up out this bitch. get out for real. Like, keep working until you get out. And that's the only thing I can say. Unless you can change this paradigm of reality where you in control and changing paradigms, nigga, and you're not waiting for a paradigm shift, then I don't want to hear it. But whatever.